Hello there, Site-42 staff, as well as those of you from the greater SCP Foundation. And welcome to another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site-42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director here at Site-42 of the SCP Foundation. And as I have done for over a year and 3 months and counting, because that's right, the daily stream streak remains strong, I'm here to open my office doors to you, the SCP Foundation staff, to answer your burning questions about this dark and mysterious place of employment we call the SCP Foundation. So whether you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff who contain them, the groups of interest who try to stop us from containing them, or hypothetical containment procedures about anomalies that fall outside of the SCP Foundation's purview, perhaps they're from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e. fandom. Either way, we are here for the next approximately 1 hour and 45 minutes for today's office hours. But before I begin today's stream subject, followed by some general Q&A, allow me to start with a little bit of housekeeping. Blue Horntail, congratulations on being the #1 most punctual member of today's Containment Hazard Assessment team, i.e., congratulations on being first chatter. Then Legendary Doge, Chesta Factory, Sleepless Dragon, Blue Phantom, Puppet Boy, Tyrone, Silent Follower. Everybody who I have just named, thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being here as members of Site-42 on YouTube. We appreciate your membership and your service. Furthermore, interns: Rain, 100 stars, Yusufar, Griffith, Taylor, Slime Guy, Kelly, Bored as Hell, Pandagras, Freakster, Dr. Darkstar, Thunder Hero, Raided, Shade, Some Person Perhaps, and Moss Monster. Thank you all for being here punctually, interns, and thank you for being here just for being you. Furthermore, we do have a quick visit from Puppy of Interest 42, codenamed Charlie, who is very excited.
She was trying to help.
She's very helpful, this Puppy of Interest 42, codenamed Charlie. The sweetest pumpkin here at Site-42 has arrived right at the start of stream to say hello to you, to get her chat-mandated attention and her chat-mandated treaty. That is a very good baby girl, the sweetest pumpkin at Site-42.
Even if she's very repeat on the floor earlier.
And now be free, child. And pee in only mandated places from now on, please. You know how the babies are. Training is still in process. All right. Now, for today's stream to be sponsored, a reminder that I, Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director of Site-42, will be 1 week from now in Tampa, Florida, at the anime convention known as MetroCon. I will be there hosting 2 panels, one on Friday, one on Saturday. Throughout the entirety of the weekend of the convention, I will be around handing out Site 42 and SCP Foundation stickers to SCP Foundation and Site 42 fans. If you come to my panels, you will also get the chance to be on stream during our standard daily stream, because those panels will be live streamed so the chat can participate. So if you can make it to Tampa, Florida for MetroCon next weekend, I'll see you there, SCP Foundation staff. Now, before I move on to donations and the general Q&A, let me talk about today's stream subject, which is... Alright, I really should have borrowed Clef's ukulele for this conversation. I would like to apologize on behalf of the SCP Foundation for possibly a grievous error. So, this all started when I saw a tweet regarding a website which is called Worse on Purpose. Worse on Purpose is a website where they do product reviews of products, specifically how the corporations that manufacture the products have made them worse on purpose. That way, they get to save the money from making a quality product, and you get shafted by the greedy corpos. This is a well-known phenomenon among general civilian populace known as ENSHITTIFICATIon. ENSHITTIFICATIon, as I said, is making things worse on purpose so that, I mean, what are you going to do? Buy it from someone else? You can't. We have a monopoly. Screw you, says the corporate overlords. And I did, in doing a little research on this website, besides being slightly annoyed at the corporate overlords, realize that in multiple of the multiverse of the SCP Foundation, it's kind of our fault. Kind of actually entirely our fault. You see, the SCP Foundation is a deep, dark, secretive organization. We do not answer to the government, but we still have to pay our bills. Our site budgets sometimes run a little dry, and when the things that go bump in the night and ruin the lives of the civilian populace are free, that's bad. I am on the side that people being murdered by monsters is bad. I know, it's a brave stance. And so, of course, what we are going to do is try to find a way to bridge that funding gap. And now, one of the ways we decided to do that is with a certain anomaly known as SCP-3108. For those of you unfamiliar, SCP-3108 is an SCP anomaly known as the Nerfing Gun. The Nerfing Gun, in its original iteration, was a Nerf-branded gun that was modified by an artist, someone who makes anomalous art projects. I don't actually think they were an artist. I just believe they might have been just someone who can make anomalous things. And so the Nerfing Gun's anomaly is that if you shoot an object with the Nerfing Gun, it anomalously becomes a worse version of that product. So in the testing logs for SCP-3108, we shot a dartboard made of sisal fibers, a high-quality dartboard, and it turned into a cork board dartboard. So it just got of a lower quality. We shot a 8x11 sheet of printer paper, and it turned into single-ply toilet paper. We shot a spare coffee mug, and it turned into a teacup, composed almost identical to the mug, but it was no longer a coffee mug. It was a teacup. We shot a United States dollar, and it turned into a United States quarter. So a 75% reduction in value with one shot of the Nerfing Gun. We shot a can of Coca-Cola. It turned into Pepsi. We shot a D-Class uniform. and it turned into a cotton made in China uniform. So apparently, whoever shot that particular uniform was anti-made in China products or something. We shot the 1971 film Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, a VHS tape, and it turned into a DVD of the 2005 remake Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Eventually, we kind of did a oopsie, and we started shooting human beings with the gun. And they started devolving down the evolutionary chain. It was, it was not a very moral test overall. But after we interviewed the person who made the anomaly, of course, they were very anti-Foundation, especially after we told them about the human testing. They were not impressed. But eventually, we took the time to convince the creator to make more. So, to teach us how to make them so we can mass produce the anomaly. And of course, a gun that makes things worse was very coveted among the corporate elites in America and across the world. And so SCP-3108 is now well in use among the 1%ers of corporate America in making their products worse. That way you're paying more for less. The SCP Foundation would like to apologize for the enshittification crisis in universes where we are the cause of it. Our bad. And before you ask, before anyone in the chat asks, yes, we did test this on SCP-682 to see what would happen. And to quote the log of the SCP-682 termination log, when we tested an individual tissue sample from 682, it was devolved into a gecko tissue, so we thought this might work. But when shooting the actual hard-to-destroy reptile, 682 began to grow larger and gained the ability to explode whenever threatened, and then reconstitute itself. 682 eventually breached containment in this state, causing double-digit casualties. 682 was successfully subdued by gunfire after return to its normal state, and was recontained. And so it turns out that because the gun turns the object you shoot into something inferior, we at the Foundation found a more dangerous lizard to be inferior. We would have liked it if it became less dangerous. So very frustrating that that did not work. But okay, Site-42 staff, that is today's stream subject. We're keeping it simple today. We are sorry for the enshittification crisis. We're not sorry for capitalism. That's not anomalous. That's not our fault. That is the fault of everyone who is not us. Now, I will catch up on the donations that have come in during the intro, and then we will talk about general Q&A for the remaining 1 hour and 30 minutes of today's office hours. Is the SCP you're talking about real? Intern Hunt. If you mean real as in an actual SCP entry on the SCP database, then yes. SCP-3108, the nerfing gun, is an SCP on the database, which you can read and vote on. It is currently at a positive 680 upvotes, which means it is quite the popular article. Now, if you're asking if the nerfing gun is real as in real life on your pataphysical narrative level, then no. The SCP Foundation on your pataphysical narrative level is not real. It is a creative writing website that doesn't pretend to be real because of the Slenderman stabbings. Alright, let's see what the donation situation is, and then our general Q&A. Tyrone's Creations, thank you for your 10 months as a level 1 researcher here at Site-42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Hey, yes, and good vibes from Site-85, Dr. A. Mask. Dr. Mask, good vibes received. Eric Terry, thank you for sending a star to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. You have now granted them a 1-star chat status. They need 4 more stars to reach that 5-star status. Good luck, chat. Intern Marksy, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Please grab yourself some nachos on your way past the commissary. And hey, it's been a minute. Good to see you and hope you're doing well. Dr. Sherman, does the ability to make anomalous objects make the creator itself anomalous, or otherwise it was a completely ordinary human being? Great question. So, anomalous knowledge does not make one anomalous. We still might have to contain you because you now have anomalous knowledge that you are willing to use to make anomalies and make our lives more difficult by having to contain more things. But if we can amnesticize you and get the knowledge out of your head, then you are not anomalous. So a person who can make anomalies doesn't necessarily have to be anomalous, they just have to know anomalous knowledge. Knowing anomalous knowledge does not make one anomalous unless you use the anomalous knowledge to make yourself anomalous. You follow? Intern Piper, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Intern Toxidiver, thank you for sending 4 stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. You have now made them a 5-star chat for the first time of today's stream. Containment Hazard Assessment Team, congratulations on your 5-star status. Make sure you hold on to it. Dr. Wondertainment, question mark. Intern Starlight, since you asked that question, I do believe you are referring to the fact that Dr. Wondertainment, as we were previously talking about, makes anomalies. So it's not the making anomalous toys that makes Dr. Wondertainment anomalous. It's the fact that Dr. Wondertainment is, in most interpretations of the multiverse, a sort of Time Lord-esque entity that regenerates into new forms, including having been Santa Claus in the past. Well, one of the Santa Clauses. We already contain 6 different anomalous Santa Clauses as the SCP Foundation works. So, just Dr. Wondertainment was another Santa Claus at one point. Coleman Fight, thank you for your 11 months as a Mobile Task Force Captain here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Hello, Dr. Sherman. What do with giant fire ants from Fallout 3, since they're as big as large dogs and be breathing fire? Well, I would suggest putting them in a fire-resistant pen. Look up the containment procedures for the dragon snails, and then just scale them up. Should be fine. SCPs are actually really interesting to me, especially because I have too much time on my hands. Well, intern rated, I would imagine that having free time and nothing to fill it with, the SCP's database is a treasure trove of the weird and interesting, so I can obviously sympathize with that. As someone who's been working for the Foundation for 11 years, and knowing of the Foundation before that, yes, quite the treasure trove of interest. Dr. Sherman, what would happen if you used SCP-3108 on a mirror? Would it bounce back and nerf the gun itself, or would it nerf the mirror? It would nerf the mirror. It's not a light ray that bounces off the mirror, it is a nerf dart. So the nerf dart would hit the mirror, and the mirror would be nerfed. Probably into one of those corkboard slats with a reflective tape put on it, rather than a glass mirror. Could the nerfing gun kill someone? Also, does it have opinions, since the Coca-Cola became Pepsi? Intern rated. The nerfing gun itself does not have opinions, but we do believe that it is based on the opinions of the person wielding it. So, the Coke to Pepsi transition was because of the preferences of the person who wielded the nerfing gun at that test. And no, it cannot kill you, but it will continue to de-evolve you down the evolutionary chain, likely down to the point of a single-celled organism. So, somewhere in that chain, when do you stop being you? So, even if you're still alive in theory, you're dead in practice in that case. Especially since it's irreversible. Intern Marksy, thank you for donating again to say, Dr. Sherman, where would the anomalous knowledge come from originally? At some point, some poor bastard must have accidentally stumbled upon it. Well, yes, just like any science, anomalous knowledge can be researched, studied. The Department of Thaumaturgy does that with all sorts of runes, anomalous languages. They are basically wizards. The Department of Thaumaturgy handles magic. Meanwhile, kinetoglyphs are a type of movement that, when performed correctly, causes anomalies to occur, such as, I believe it's SCP-3108 is the safety dance. Yes, SCP-3108, the safety dance, is a series of movements that, if performed correctly, make you completely invulnerable. A variant that we researched of the safety dance also creates shadow clone jutsu, as the interns call it. So SCP-3688 is a handy skill to have on hand. So yes, you can be taught anomalous knowledge, you can discover it yourself. There's a lot of ways. Intern Daniel, thank you for sending a star to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. You have granted them a new prestige rank, and they are now a 1-star team. Work your way back up to 5 as you can, chat. I'm a Meg. Where did that go? I'm a Meg agent undercover in this chat. Well, the SCP Foundation has many treaties with the Meg organization, especially going behind the back of Async. Since Async won't let us study the backrooms at all, we have to collaborate with Meg from time to time. That being said, your question is, are the UIU friends with the GOC? I mean, consider that the UIU is part of the FBI versus the Global Occult Coalition being run by the United Nations, and consider how very badly SCP-5004-B, the President of the United States, has screwed up relations with the international community and the United Nations. So probably the UIU and the GOC aren't very much friends at this point, I would imagine. Coolman Fight, thank you for your first super of today's stream. Please grab yourself a soup or salad on your way past the commissary. My favorite Fallout 3 DLC is Point Lookout because OG, the quest line, the Velvet Curtain. Also, do the SCP Foundation have submarines? Yes, Point Lookout is a great Fallout 3 DLC. Very good times. And yes, the SCP Foundation does have submersible devices. We do have a navy after all. Intern Jester, thank you for sending sparkles to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. I'm sure they'll appreciate having to clean up yet another glitter bomb. Intern Yamal, you asked if SCPs are real. No, the SCP Foundation is a creative writing community and fandom. It is all fake stories. And when people ask that in the chat, we drop kayfabe and we say that no, it's not real, because we don't want the 2015 Slenderman stabbings to happen again, where 2 kids thought Slenderman was real, and if they stabbed their friend to death, then Slenderman would like them. SCP is not real, don't stab your friends. Intern Marksy, thank you for donating again to say. Dr. Sherman, what happened to the Chaos Insurgency? I never get any memos about them anymore. Did we neutralize the threat? Well, they are, I don't know of any sort of event that might have gone them to go quiet. Perhaps it's because they're plotting something. Those rats never do just die. They're like roaches, actually. Intern Luth. I do not have a least favorite SCP. I do not tend to think of art in that manner. Even SCPs that I don't particularly like because maybe the flavor isn't one that I particularly like, If it's upvoted enough to stay on the site, that means there's a sort of quality floor, and there are people who do resonate with the art. And so in that case, rather than say, oh, I don't like this, so it's bad, I try to understand why other people like it, and I find that a lot more fulfilling as an enjoyer of art. That being said, SCP-729-J is the worst fucking thing we contain, and SCP-022-J, and anybody who are infected with SCP-022-J-1 can take a titanium anvil to the head, for all I care. Ugh. Pardon. Do you have a favorite canine SCP? Bored as hell if I don't say SCP-001-J, codename number 1 Doggo, then I do believe the desk will riot. Coolman Fight, thank you for donating again to say, Dr. Sherman, last night I had another nightmare where you were a giant fire-breathing yellow rabbit with giant pink rabbit ears. I shudder at the thought of the experiments that would have caused that to be a reality. Ugh. Froy, we are currently 26 minutes into this stream with an hour and 20 minutes remaining. Dr. Sherman, I was on Reddit, and I came across a post of all SCP classes. I saw one called Declassified, which according to the post meant the SCP is public, does exist in the SCP Foundation. That does sound like a categorization we would use. If I go to the handy-dandy object class list on the database, it's probably not very often used because, again, our whole point is classifying anomalies. So declassified doesn't sound like things that we would do very often. Safe, Euclid Keter, Thaumiel, Apollyon, Archon, Ceranos, Ticonderoga. Explained, neutralized, decommissioned, pending, uncontained, esoteric classes. And so going to the esoteric class list. And now I've got to open up all of these lists because there's so many esoteric classes. And let's search for declassified. Item has been revealed to the Foundation and or the public at large, including Sanks 269 equals Solvix's proposal in Japan branch. SCP-3368 has been declassified. SCP-3382 has been declassified. SCP-6107 has been declassified. SCP-7998 has been declassified. SCP-9687 has been declassified. And SCP-9318 has been declassified. So yes, it's not very common. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 anomalies declassified. But that is more than 0, so it does exist. Returning to the chat. What mobile task force deals with SCP-096 getting into the public? Intern Truth, it would likely be whichever one was closest to the anomaly to get it contained as quick as possible. I don't think we have a specific team for 096. Checking its documentation. Nope. It does not have a set containment team. Retrieval Team Zulu 9A is the first team to encounter it in the field. Or at least that's who interviewed it there. So yes, 096 does not have an assigned team. It's just whoever's available when shit hits the fan. Dr. Sherman, could SCP-055 be SCP-001 because we don't know what it is? Intern Daniel, the problem is we don't have an 055 in the first place. So that wouldn't be possible. Mark C., thank you for donating again to say, Dr. Sherman requesting permission to cross SCP-3108 with SCP-72. 9-J. Oh no. Unless we've already done that cross test. You're going to make me go? You're going to make me go to the documentation for that abomination? I do believe we've tested them before. Ugh. This fucking thing. Alright, 3108. Oh. I guess we actually haven't tested those things together. I'm going to deny this test, because based on what happened with 682, we absolutely do not want that abomination to get worse. So I absolutely am denying this cross-test. Intern Miller, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Please grab yourself a porterhouse on your way past the commissary. Hello, Dr. Sherman. It appears I've gained anomalous abilities. If I assist in the repairs of the railway steam locomotive, it seems to gain some level of self-control, being able to apply its own brakes and open its own throttle. So you're bringing trains to life. Alright, well, let's first get you contained and properly tested to make sure there's no accidental interactions with other anomalies. But I do think we can put that to use in automating the train lines we use to transfer anomalies across the countries. So, this could be a useful anomaly to have. Let's just make sure there's no unexpected interactions. Intern Greater Doge, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Intern Torres, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Please get yourself a loaded baconed potato on your way past the commissary. Hey Doc, on patrol in sub-level tunnels. Do you know how they get cell service to reach all the way down here? That is classified information. Dr. Sherman, if you were an SCP, how would the Foundation contain you? Well, Zinc Z, for that to be the case, I would have to have some sort of anomalous ability. And you would need to tell me what that anomalous ability would be so I can cater the containment procedures properly. Because if I can breathe fire, you need to fireproof things. If I can do ice, you need to ice-proof the room. There's a lot of ways that anomalies interact with containment chambers, and so you'd have to be more specific. Desk has arrived. Desk has been there the whole time. Throw some desk emotes in the chat, Site 42 members. Our new desk emotes, as well as the 5 new emotes that we have for members, thanks to Junior Researcher Sally. And reminder, if you have the ability to become a member here at Site 42 YouTube, you get both access to those member emojis, and we have the ability to get more member emojis. I have 36 member emojis commissioned from Junior Researcher Sally. I cannot upload yet because YouTube limits you to how many members you have. So the more members, the more custom emotes I'm allowed to upload. That's the carrot and the stick of YouTube, apparently. What if 131 looked at 096? Intern Pancakes. Since the 131 site can stop 173, I would assume the same functionality works for 096, which means we will lose the 096 to being mauled to death. So let's not let that happen, shall we? Mark C., thank you for donating again to say, Dr. Sherman, your anomalous ability is obviously performing such dazzling dance routines that makes any onlookers faint in dramatic awe. Is that another... Well, wait, is that an anomalous ability, or is that anomalous knowledge, again? Because having anomalous... I am capable of performing SCP-3688, the safety dance, to become invulnerable. But that's something I learned to do. That's not an inherent anomaly. Are my sweet, sweet dance moves that make people faint anomalous knowledge, or am I inherently anomalous? That's a good question to make sure of here. What if SCP-096 look on the mirror? Intern Mikolaj. We get this question damn near every stream, and it's always the same answer. 096 already knows how ugly it is. It already knows. That's why it gets mad when people see its face. It's not going to kill itself because it already knows how ugly it is. It wants to kill other people who know how ugly it is. Plus, now that you put a mirror in the room, now you have twice as much of an opportunity of accidentally seeing its face, so you've made it more dangerous. Good work. That's being sarcastic. It's actually bad work. Can we give SCP-096 plastic surgeries, then? Wacky Clown, how are you going to do that without looking at its face? Would I be detained for being an alien? Yes. Yes, aliens are considered anomalous. You would be detained and contained. Yes. Oh yeah, I didn't think about that part. Thank you, Intern Wacky Clown. I appreciate. Don't worry, we all have those little brain farts from time to time. It's just, here at the Foundation, they cost many lives, so we try to minimize them where we can. That's why we all collaborate. Intern Miller, thank you for donating again to say... Well, they don't seem to be alive, per se. They don't have a face, and they can't talk or really do much else, but they can also blow their own whistle, but a crew would still be needed for the rest of the controls in the fire. Well, I mean, that does slightly minimize the human error of the train lines, so that's a step in the right direction, and it saves us resources. Yes, this seems like it could still be useful. Keep running tests. The more information we have on this, the more well we could utilize the anomaly. Make SCP-939 eat SCP-106. Intern Pancakes. That is not likely to happen because of the corrosive gel liquid that encompasses SCP-106. Once it was bitten by a 939, it would burn the 939's mouth and it would spit out the old man. Furthermore, we already know that the old man is rather bulletproof, meaning that we are unable to, it would not, even if swallowed whole somehow by the 939, it would not really affect 106. Intern 37, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Please grab yourself some rock candy on your way past the commissary. And since you didn't donate enough to send a message with your super chat, simply thank you for your generosity. What is the minimum super chat to send a message again? I think it's the $2 dono is what it requires to send a message, and anything below a dono, below that is just a blank super chat. Can someone look at that and confirm for me. I just want to make sure I've got that right. Dr. Sherman, any SCPs you recommend? I'm bored and searching for some interesting ones. Intern Rated, have you read SCP-3108 yet? It is one of my favorite anomalies. It is rather surreal and horrifying. It's a good read. And if you're looking for something a little less horrifying, check out SCP-3043, another one of my favorites. But don't check it out on the wiki. Check out the audio recording of it we have here on the database. Because our audio recording, oh, it's choice. It's a whole goddamn radio play. Thank you all for confirming that $1.99 is a blank dono. You need to hit $2 or higher to make a super chat message. Good to know. What SCP is your favorite besides SCP-999? Intern Luthop. SCP-999 is not among my favorite SCPs. Now, it is a very sweet goo child, but it is a fairly simplistic story, which I, as an avid reader of SCPs, it doesn't rank very highly for me. It's a nice entity. It is not one of my favorite SCPs. But I always say my favorite SCPs at the end of stream. It's a tradition around these parts. End of stream being in about 1 hour. So you can wait around an hour for the end of stream. You could donate a super chat or a Ko-Fi to ask what my favorite SCP is, and then I will answer for you out of return for your generosity. Or you can just skip to the end of a previous stream to find out. That is a little bit of a cheater's method, but I won't hold it against you. Intern Toucan, thank you for sending an UNC alert to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure the chat will be on alert for any UNCs that may turn up, thanks to your reminder and alert. Intern Kaiser, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Please grab yourself a Wafa Thin Mint on your way past the commissary. $2. Also, which department has the best coffee? Well, thank you for actively doing the job of discovering the cheapest super chat in real time to make sure we had a confirmed answer. Also, the best coffee is obviously, it's not department to department, it's Site 42. I pump a lot of our budget into the commissary here to have the best commissary in the Foundation. It's good for morale. High morale means less containment breaches. So please enjoy the top-of-the-line commissary that can make basically anything you ever want here at Site 42. What can I say except you're welcome for the coffee you just had? What can I say except you're welcome? The food is great. Your tummy's gonna be glad. Has SCP-2337 made it onto your favorites list yet? You know, it's funny. 2337, codename Dr. Spanko, is one of my favorite characters, anomalies in the Foundation. My favorite SCPs list is specifically my favorite stories. Whether they be terrifying, horrifying, surreal, comedic. But I guess it's a different list than my favorite SCP anomalies specifically, where it's not about the article, it's about the anomaly. Because Dr. Spanko is one of my favorite characters on the site. Huh. I'll have to consider if I need 2 lists for this. But yes, SCP-2337 rules, as does SCP-1370, codename Pesterbot. Absolutely hilarious anomalies. Intern Torres, thank you for donating again to say, don't forget the good taco guy with level 3 parking clearance. Oh yes, I have officially looped the good taco guy into the commissary budget. You know, the 3rd parking level could use a food truck day once in a while, I think. I think that would be a fun benefit to Site-42 staff. Intern Daniel, thank you for sending a star to the chat. They are now a 2-star team, making their way back up to 5-star status. Mark C, thank you for donating again to say, Dr. Sherman requesting permission to leak kinetograph PMK5 to the Chaos Insurgency counterintelligence under the ruse of being the safety dance. Is PMK5 the one that makes them explode by chance? 3688. PMK5 annihilates all solid matter within target area. No, because they're going to need the exact amount of people, and it's going to be a hard sell to get them to get 5 people dumb enough to encompass their base and blow it up under the ruse that it would keep their base permanently fortified. Scratch that. They are pretty dumb. But no, then we'd be giving them basically a nuke. I don't want to give them a nuke because they might use it on us. Dr. Sherman, do you have any favorite tales? Interesting question, some person perhaps. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Site-42 YouTube channel, and I'm going to search for the word tale. Because first and foremost, if I read the tale, it probably means it's one of the ones I liked very much. So let me run down the list of tales I've read for the channel. Who can forget Divine Intervention, when we shot SCP-343 in the face. Wacky fun. Love that one. If you want to check out SCP Tale Ethics Committee Orientation featuring Jack Urquhart, Agent Jack Urquhart on the channel is actually the voice actor John Winfield, who you might be familiar with as Abel from the Amazing Digital Circus. Did some guest voices for the channel. So if you find any tale on the channel, Agent Jack Urquhart, we found him first. SCP Tale, The Log of Anomalous Dates is very funny. The Log of Anomalous Dates is a very good tale. Have you done a reading of Ignorance is Bliss? Chester Factory, that is one of my tales you're talking about for the rest of chat who doesn't know. And I read it during a stream, a live. I've never done a full reading of it with sound effects the way we do for other videos. Addressing the Second is an amazing Dr. Spanko tale. SCP-2337 again. The tale Addressing the Second... No, Addressing the Second... Is Addressing the Second the Dr. Spanko tale? Or is that a different one? No, Addressing the Second is not the Dr. Spanko tale. A Diminished Thing is the name of the Dr. Spanko tale. A diminished thing takes Dr. Spanko, the funny character, and makes it a tragedy. Sorry, it's a 3-word starting with an A. A diminished thing, addressing the second. It's kind of the same title vibe. Hold on, my terminal is lagging. I'll keep going once it refreshes. Really need to upgrade the frickin' technology around here. Content warning, this is still a Foundation story after all. While it's not my favorite story on the site, it is the one where SCP-113, the gender-switching stone, turns a non-binary staff member into a shape-shifting cat girl. And so a lot of people enjoy that aspect of the story if you're interested. Dr. Coolbad Destroys the Economy is a Radiger tale that's very worth reading. The Trouble with Amnestics is an SCP-3999 follow-up tale about researcher Talaran. Amazing story. That's from the first page of tales I've read. Go check out the playlist and see what else you might be interested in, because that was 30 out of 120 that I just looked at. Alright, returning to chat. The Artist SCP, thank you for sending 5 doubloons to the chat. I'm sure they'll spend them wisely. Toucan, thank you for sending a marshmallow high to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they will enjoy the sweet treat hello. Marksy, thank you for donating again to say. Dr. Sherman requesting permission to borrow a pen. Mine grew legs and arms and ran away into the ventilation shafts before I could catch it. Are you sure it wasn't a monkey that grabbed the pen? A monkey perhaps by the name of Annie's Boobs. We've been looking for that monkey in the vents for a while. Wow, you are streaming early today. I had just woken up. Journey of Games, yes, on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, because I have to work my cover job as a ballroom dance instructor in the afternoon and evening. Friday, Saturday, Sunday streams are traditionally earlier. We have to stream every day after all. We haven't missed a stream in over a year and 3 months. What? Dr. Sherman, what happens if the nerfing gun somehow shot itself? So somehow it's not that complicated. It shoots Nerf darts. So I imagine you could just shoot it into the air and have the Nerf dart properly land on the nerfing gun. I do wonder... now that we can reproduce the nerfing gun and we've used it to ruin capitalism, perhaps we can run a test on that. Amber, thank you for sending a floating heart to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they feel the love. Are the nerfing gun bullets anomalous after being shot by it? Well, I imagine the Nerf darts that get shot by the nerfing gun, they would just deteriorate and be unusable at that point. So they're not anomalous. So when the nerfing gun nerfs something, the resulting thing isn't anomalous. So if it turns a Coke into a Pepsi, the Pepsi is not anomalous. It's just now a normal Pepsi. So that's not how that functions. Yo, Dr. Sherman, how would you contain a lamp that destroys all lights within a 900-mile radius when it's turned on? Also, I love your vids, man. Well, thank you, intern Starlight, for appreciating our work here at Site-42. We are doing our best to make engaging SCP Foundation content, to spread the SCP Foundation to those who appreciate its artistic merit, and to help SCP artists make bigger and better SCP projects by highlighting them on our larger platform. So, quite simply, we would just put that in a box. It's just a lamp. Don't turn it on. It's easy to contain. That's a safe class anomaly. It's just a lamp. Dr. Sherman, I have a question. Is the anatomical heart acceptable for Charlie's name, or only non-anatomical hearts acceptable? I would have to ask Agent Goose to confirm, but I have no problem with the anatomical heart. Dr. Sherman, do you do OnlyFans? Well, despite the fact that I am asexual, I am one hot fuck, so I can understand your interest. However, the only OnlyFans I have consented to possibly doing would be an OnlyFans where we form a fitness group to become accountability buddies as part of the Foundation Fitness Initiative, where we would share workout tips back and forth. And I would help you guys to become the strong SCP nerds so that nerds may inherit the Earth. And I guess there would be some progress picks which could be mistaken for thirst traps if that were to be the case. But that was just an idea we have not fully committed to yet. However, while your attraction to me is noted, hashtag annoyed in asexual, I'm not interested. You can look, but you can't touch. Intern Mark C., thank you for donating again to say. But, Dr. Sherman, what if we find a researcher whose definition of worse is more anomalous? Would that turn the nerfing gun into an anomaly maker gun? Well, most SCP Foundation researchers already believe that things being anomalous are worse than normal, and it has not had that effect yet. So, fingers crossed it doesn't start doing that. Okay, wait a minute. Interesting. So, someone in the chat asked which SCP is SCP Peanut, and I was going to jokingly look on the database to find one that is actively anomalous peanuts or something like that, to do a comical redirect of the subject, but it turns out we do not have a specifically peanut-related SCP. Now, we do have several anomalies that are peanut butter related. SCP-5960, codename Webby's Original Revitalizing Chunky Peanut Butter, or SCP-8662, The Car Full of Peanut Butter. And it turns out that SCP-5031, yet another murder monster, does have a serious peanut allergy, so don't let our delightful SCP-5031 have peanuts. But, funny, no actual peanut SCPs. Learned something new today. Intern Ethan, thank you for sending a dub to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure, as always, they will take the dub. Intern Coolest, SCP-999 is edible, but it tickles all the way down. I wouldn't recommend it. Yo, Site42. Yo, Intern Maward. Dr. Sherman, are you homophobic? Intern Porcent, the SCP Foundation is an LGBTQIA-friendly space. And remember, I'm a theater kid. You think a theater kid like me could get away with being homophobic? Never. The gays are the best. They are my besties. I am mistaken for the gays because I'm so theater. The LGBTQ community is cool with SCP Foundation and Site-42. Homophobes need not apply. SCP-173 could be peanut-related. Fecal matter sometimes has peanuts in it. Thanks, Intern Nolono. I hate it. Dr. Sherman, I didn't say I was. Intern Porcent, I didn't say you were either. I just said that those who are should not be, and will not be tolerated. Reminder, Site-42 staff, we have a moderator in the stream with a blue shield next to their name. That is the Desk of Alto Clef. You should always pay attention if our moderator deigns to speak, because perhaps the moderator is answering one of your simpler questions that I can't get to. Maybe the moderator is telling a funny joke and you should pay attention. Or just maybe the moderator is telling you that you broke a rule, and if you don't keep to the right side of the rules, you will be banned. Not listening to the moderator and therefore not knowing you're breaking the rules is not an acceptable excuse. So if the moderator speaks, you listen. Ethan, thank you for sending a doubloon to the chat. I'm sure they'll spend it wisely. Dunno, thank you for sending sparkles to the chat. I'm sure they'll enjoy cleaning up yet another glitter bomb. Site 42 staff, please note, we have 45 minutes remaining in stream. 45 minutes. I guess the baby has decided to play with toys here. This is the toy playing spot. Yes, you found Nemo. Now attack. Look at this baby. Rotten for choices. So many toys and friends. Absolute spoiled baby. Who, me? Is that the chat? Are my friends here? Good babies. Which kitty? Chester Factory, that is Agent Charlemagne. Agent Charlemagne is the cat in question. Dr. Sherman, what would happen if you shoot 682 with a Nerfing gun? We already answered this, intern Shadow. It got more dangerous. It became bigger, and it gained the ability to explode and reconstitute itself on command. It killed many SCP staff members that day. I'm in the middle of reading SCP-3108 and I just keyboard smashed. What is happening in it? This is crazy and I love it. Yes, 3999 is very surreal and confusing. Feel free to check out the video version of it that I have here on the channel. It's very crazy a listen. As well as an explainer where I ran down some of the references in it. On our old show, Sherm's Declassified Skip Survival Guide. Dr. Sherman, I used to be afraid of the stuff on your channel when I was a kid. Well, the SCP Foundation can be very scary at times, so that is understandable. Especially because children believe everything they see on the internet, so they think it's actually real. Favorite food SCP? Well, intern Ua. If I had to pick a favorite food SCP based on interest and not just on usefulness, I would say SCP-1600, codename the Philosopher's Cheese. It is a liquid that if you put it on a any sort of object, anything, it turns that object into an edible cheese. The cheese will not be toxic, so you're able to eat it and find the taste of that particular kind of cheese. The gold cheese is exceptionally satisfying. And who can forget the salsa hammer? The salsa hammer is an amazing anomaly. It's a hammer that turns whatever you hit it with into salsa. The SCP salsa hammer is a fabulous anomaly if you are in need of salsa. And once my terminal finally stops spasming, SCP-3794, the salsa hammer. Definitely one of the shortest anomalies on the site. Mark C., thank you for donating again to say, good news, Dr. Sherman. The missing pen was not in fact anomalous, and it was indeed the vent monkey. Bad news, the monkey has my clearance card. You gave Annie's boobs your clearance card? Now who knows what that monkey's gonna do? Well, get it back. Intern Sands, thank you for sending a gold coin to the chat. I'm sure they appreciate the spending doubloon. Intern Shadow429, I already answered your query about 682 versus the nerfing gun. You must have not been paying attention. Go back into the stream. Have you read Discussion? It's sort of adjacent to Divine Intervention in terms of how it's written. Some person, perhaps. I have not read that. I have not heard of it. But in what way is it similar to Divine Intervention? I'm not sure in which manner you're considering it similar. Elaborate. Intern Thompson, thank you for sending a flow state to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure they will lock in, thanks to your urging. Dr. Sherman, do you recognize the bodies in the water? No, Intern Teddy, and neither do you. Or anyone else in the chat. Intern Starlight, thank you for sending a gold coin to the chat. I'm sure they appreciate the spending doubloon. Dr. Sherman, may you support me in my request to decommission 343. I am presenting 9734 to the Ethics Committee to support this request. Long story short, we do not want it to start helping. Well, first and foremost, I've always thought that 343 was more of an annoyance than anything, but I don't often agree with decommissioning anomalies in the first place. I need to see more research in your documentation for what that would mean. Dr. Sherman, do you like the Pokemon Jigglypuff? Well, Intern Porcent, while I appreciate its pink complexion matching, it does ruin every karaoke night that it comes to, so I'm not a fan. I enjoy karaoke night, and karaoke night ends very quickly once Jigglypuff shows up. And cleaning up all that Sharpie is frustrating. What will happen if SCP-173 faces SCP-939? Well, intern Natan, 939 can't really eat SCP-173. It's a sculpture, after all. But 173 is capable of snapping necks of creatures that are not human. And so probably 939 would die. Shadow 4929. The easiest way to find the answer to your question is go back to the start of stream, where I start the stream subject regarding SCP-3108, because I did answer it at the start of stream as well. And so go back to the start of stream and you will find it. Mark C., thank you for donating again to say, okay, I took a back cramp, almost getting stuck in the vents and sacrificing my commissary lunch banana, but I have my clearance card back. The monkey seems to think I'm its friend now. That's actually quite worrying for you. I have heard that that particular monkey is quite the thief, so if it wants to hang around you more, it means you'll be losing more and more of your possessions. Keep your eyes open. Intern Maward, please stop shouting in the chat. It's unprofessional. Furthermore, you are ignoring the moderator, which is a quick way for you to get banned from the chat. Behave yourself. We are a professional organization. Follow the moderator. This is your last warning. Intern Chili. What? No. Intern Starlight, thank you for sending a chili to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. They will, I'm sure, enjoy the hot chip snack. Discussion is a one-sided conversation, sort of like divine intervention. Can't hear interviewer. It also makes you figure out who's speaking, won't spoil who the narrator is. Interesting. I just missed the mod, not gonna lie, chat was too fast. I am going to say that is not a good enough excuse for ignoring the moderator. You must pay attention when you see that little blue shield. We will train our chat to do better. Dr. Sherman, when someone gets banned from the chat, do they get terminated too? You know, I actually have not checked what happens when the desks somebody. I don't know exactly what happens to those poor fools. And you know what? I don't think I want to know. Hey, are we allowed to duet collab your shorts given right credit? Absolutely you are, intern Firefox. Yes, you may collaborate, duet, collab with any of my works. Remember, the SCP Foundation is a Creative Commons community, meaning as long as you give proper credit to the creator, you are allowed to remix and reuse and even monetize your works. So you could freely, right now, make an out-of-context compilation of me, post it on YouTube, and you would be able to monetize that and make money off of my jokes and face. Now, I would hope, morally speaking, that you would be crediting me. If you don't credit me, you're not allowed to do it. Then you're breaking the license, and I can sue you for copyright. But if you credit me, there's nothing I can do. You're following the license. From that point, I would, yeah, that's all. Tiragal, thank you for your first super of today's stream. Please grab yourself a plate of chicken wings on your way past the commissary. Firstly, greetings, Dr. Sherman. Secondly, I got 999 time, but it won't stop vibrating. It's not even touching me. Sounds like a jet. Should I be worried? Ah, yes, that is the White Monster Energy Drink addled SCP-999. Just back away slowly. Why do I see heavily armored people entering the KFC in my town? Well, intern among, there are at least 2 anomalies related to the Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise. SCP-3250 is a perpetual anomaly affecting people who have consumed Kentucky Fried Chicken food. For a period of time after consumption, people affected by the anomaly will perceive depictions of Jesus Christ as being altered to resemble Colonel Sanders. So you go to church and the stained glass windows are all Colonel Sanders for a time. It alters your perception after you eat Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's just one of the many KFC anomalies that we contain. That franchise is particularly anomalous. Mark C., thank you for donating again to say. Dr. Sherman, I know it's allowed, but may I use an artistic interpretation of your likeness as an SCP trading card game I may or may not like? Yes, of course you may. As I said, it is allowed. Make sure you credit Dr. Sherman and the Site42 YouTube channel as is proper. And tell me about it. Show me the card when it's done. Intern Torres, thank you for donating again to say, are they in Lansing? Site 11 has an entrance and a fake KFC. Ah, okay. That's also useful as a front company. Now, we would normally change the letters around to have our front companies not be an official brand, but be an offshoot of some sort, like Superior Chicken Product. That would be one of our front companies. Intern Bros, thank you for sending a star to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. You have now made them a 3-star chat. One step closer to a 5-star rating. Dr. Sherman, hi. Intern Solus, hi to you too. What will happen if somebody would send the Shy Guy into deep space? Intern Among, it would still be able to jump back to Earth from whatever planet it landed on. It has strong, strong legs. It does its squat day. Intern Knight, welcome to Site42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Intern Porcent, your strange trolling comments are starting to grate on my nerves. This is your warning to stop being weird in the chat. This is your only warning. Don't put me back in the box. It's dark and they put weird stabby things in me. Intern, totally. That is just called testing. You are anomalous. We are required to run tests. Those are called needles. We take samples so we can run tests. It's part of the process. Trust the process and stay in your box. Dr. Sherman, how do you know a lot about SCPs? Intern Bros, it's a lot of practice. It is a lot of study. I've been making content about the Foundation for 11 years. When you've read that many SCPs, you know things. It is time and effort and reading. How do you always have shorts but you look different from your live? How many shorts do you have? Journey of Games. What you are seeing is broadcasts from alternate universes Dr. Sherman's. Some of them he's just a lowly researcher. Some of them he's the site director. Some of them he's just an archivist, not even a researcher. It's just multiversal shenanigans, don't worry about it. Mark C., thank you for donating again to say, Dr. Sherman, have we contained an anomaly whose anomalous ability is the fact that anyone who lays eyes on it knows it to be anomalous despite having no effect other than that? So, There is an anomaly in the 2 to 3,000s, I believe, where the anomaly is that it's a dude that we think is anomalous and we keep trying to contain it despite the fact that I don't think it's actually anomalous, but we are convinced that it's anomalous. My problem is I don't know how to keyword search that on the database. I think I might have found the way to find this particular anomaly. SCP-3017 has the anomalous ability, all subjects in close proximity, subjects who make direct visual contact or engage in conversation have a 1 to 5% chance per minute of becoming spontaneously aware of 3017's criminal disposition. Subjects do not gain knowledge of 3017's specific crimes, only a general understanding of its violent nature. Subjects exposed to 3017 for periods greater than 1 hour may begin to experience a compulsion to ensure 3017 remains incarcerated. Further exposure can result in obsessive or violent behavior, though this is easily remedied with amnestic treatment. It also has a secondary anomaly, an ability to evade extended incarceration. This effect is believed to be voluntary, but the exact mechanism for the phenomenon is unknown. And so everybody wants to keep 3017 contained, but it also has the ability to not be contained. That sounds very similar to what you're talking about. And then let me try. No. What if I try do SCP-2472, codename a small metal air coupler that is apparently not anomalous, is, well, apparently a non-anomalous air coupler but all of our tests register it as anomalous, despite the fact that it seems to not be anomalous. Now, this is the opposite of the one true anomaly, which is SCP-6383, a stop sign, which is the only thing on Earth that is 100% not anomalous. Because SCP-6383, while everything on Earth, you, me, the grass, the rocks, everything is at least a little percentage anomalous, and we contain everything past a threshold of anomalous, 6383 is the only thing that is a 0.00% completely non-anomalous in every way. So 2472 for it's not anomalous, but it seems to be. And 6383, we contain it because it's the only thing that is completely non-anomalous. And then 3017 for being a guy who everyone wants to contain for being anomalous. I think those are the closest to your query, Mark C. Philip November, thank you for your first super of today's stream, as well as being a member. Please grab yourself a fruit tart on your way past the commissary. Dark mode Sherm activate. I wish. Right now the Wikidot is having some issues where the dark mode is not functioning like I want it to. And so I keep getting flashbanged by the wiki. And Rosemary, thank you for your first super of today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a chocolate tart on the way past the commissary. To continue to say, Director, did you figure out the dark mode yet? No. Wikidot's screwing up, and so I'm still stuck. Philip November, thank you for supering again to say, I was talking about your coat. Ah, okay, I see, yes. My site director coat. It is quite dark. Sinister. Darker yet darker. I just got banished to the Shadow Realm. What did I do? Well, radiation creature, that's what you get for getting in an argument with SCP-5175 after taking its yogurt from the fridge. Now you are banished to the realm of forever suffering. That's what you get for fighting the wielder of the death knife. Intern Akil, if you want to risk your life to try to gain a tissue sample from SCP-682, use SCP-1600 to turn it into cheese, you saw nothing, and then to taste the 682 cheese, that's between you and your livelihood. Can we contain SCP-682 inside SCP-2719? I would not be shocked if we attempted that in some manner. Control F, 2719. SCP-682 went inside. Termination test record, outside. It did not work. Have you tried putting 682 inside 3008 yet? Intern Reeves, I'm going to tell you why putting SCP-682 inside the Infinite IKEA is a terrible idea for idiots. The Infinite IKEA is an infinite space where the door moves around. But it's still loose in there, first and foremost, which means any survivor camps that are there are going to be destroyed, killed, bad. Secondarily, SCP-682 is basically immortal, which means it is a statistical certainty that it will eventually find the door. No matter where it moves, it'll stumble upon the door and be back loose in our world. So no, we're not doing that with any anomaly, let alone the fact that just by putting things into the infinite IKEA, once the door moves, we can't get them back out. So the only thing that we could get out is the thing we don't want to get out. It's a bad idea for people who need to learn to have better ideas. Mark C., thank you for donating again to say, Dr. Sherman, I hope you don't perform tests in your site director coat. Stains and spills are hard to detect on dark fabrics. Well, yes, this is not for research, this is for administration work. I'm so sorry to ask, but could SCP-682 be any way affected by, oh god, 7-2? 9 SJ. You need to read the document for that abomination. We've already run that test. Then you wouldn't have had to ask me this. That thing destroyed 682 so thoroughly and so horribly that we expunged the data of the test. No one needs to know. Dr. Sherman, what happens if we shoot Pesterbot with the nerfing gun? Intern Nolono. I actually think Pesterbot can't get any worse. Honestly. I think it's as bad as it can get. Pardon. Intern Among. I actually have a video on this channel called The Imposter is Not an SCP, but if it were. You can go check out the containment procedures for how we contain it in that video on this channel. Intern Tit, apparently. You don't get to be disappointed that I forgot your name. You don't hang around chat enough. I don't know you. You need to hang out more often. I don't see you in stream enough to remember your user handle, and it's not in your user handle. If you want me to call you something, make it your channel name so I can do it right. You don't get to be disappointed in me. I'm the site director. I'm disappointed in you. Mark C., thank you for donating again to say. Dr. Sherman, what is your opinion on the Hatbot Chronicles? I don't know what that is. So, no opinion. Intern Tit, you said I did make it my user? Well, it's not your user right now. Your user right now is totally not an anomalous worker. That is not TYT, the name you are choosing to use. Tight. I like it better as tight. Toit. What are your thoughts on SCP Redacted, Doc? Intern Azur, you are a prime example about how the Foundation has gotten too liberal with the black marker. You're asking me my opinion on a redacted SCP? I don't know what SCP you're talking about. You can't just redact and expunge everything. We can't have conversations this way. The Hatbot Chronicles is a tale at positive 183 marking. Oh, that's pretty popular for a tale. Tales get a lot less play than the SCP documents. Oh, Site 42 staff, by the way, we are currently 10 minutes from the end of stream. 10 minutes from the end of the stream, so get your last-minute questions in. Intern Tight, Terragal is telling you that your @ name is different from your channel name. Make sure your @ is the same as your channel. That might be the problem you are having with this. Dr. Sherman, SCP-9999 just took Dr. Jeremy away. Now I really need backup for this one. Intern Stein. We don't have an SCP-9999 yet. We don't have one of those. What are you talking about? How are you? Well, Intern Joey, I'm doing quite well, actually. Today's a good day. Have you picked the end of stream song? Yes. Intern Jackenstein, yes. I often pick the stream credit song before stream starts. And so I do have an end credit song in mind. But if someone were to donate with the purpose of picking a song, we're no longer raising funds for that convention, so I'm not giving away the credit song to the highest donor. But I suppose if you donated a fair amount and requested a song, and I knew the song, maybe I would do it. I make no promises. What are some of the most fucked up articles you've read? Intern Basement Dweller. I recommend to you the tale, the SCP document, codename Prize People. Prize People and Shower Drain. Sorry, not Shower Drain, Drain Snake. Prize People and Drain Snake are fucked up. $37. Thank you for donating again to say. Dr. Sherman, I made some SCP art. Could you check for the 2 posts and let me know what you think? Check for the 2 posts where, 37? Where do you want me to see these things? You need to be more specific. Intern Tight. Now I see your user handle is available. $37. Thank you for donating again to say your YouTube channel is where you have this art. I see. Hold on. Doom. Now, a reminder, it is not Fan Art Friday, so we are not showing art today. But I do see you have some arts here, and it looks like you are making good progress as an artist. Keep up the good work. It's a very nice Josie you've got there. Intern Stein. Dr. Blue is on a hiatus. Has decided that rather than being an SCP Foundation researcher, Dr. Blue would prefer to be a dinosaur. And so while Dr. Blue comes back from time to time, it is a rarity, as being a dinosaur has more appeal to Dr. Blue. Gray, thank you for sending 34 stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. You have granted them 7 prestige ranks and made them a 2-star team. The lag changed and Gray sent one more star than I thought. And Beastly Gamer sent a star. So now you guys have 2 stars. Closer. You're now a 4-star team. One away from being the 5-star chat. Rosemary, thank you for donating again to say, Dr. Sherman, could we use 5158 to end world hunger? SCP-5158, you say. I don't remember that one off the top of my head. (5158) parasitic quasi-fungal biological organism from the Pacific Ocean. I'm unfamiliar with this anomaly, but I will also say, at the end of the day, we're not trying to cure world hunger. We're trying to contain anomalies. So we will not be doing it regardless of the answer of what that anomaly does. Beastly, thank you for making the chat a 5-star team. And Marksy, thank you for donating again at an incredibly generous amount to the chat. This is going to be very helpful for the budgetary constraints myself and Toad King Studios will have going to MetroCon. I'm going to be purchasing more stickers from Eric to make merch at the convention, so I appreciate your generosity in helping me be able to hand out more stickers at MetroCon Tampa. Please grab yourself, go to the commissary, and I want you to give the front end commissary worker a nice friendly pat on the cheek, a nice little caress, and say, you're doing your best and it's appreciated. The commissary worker will shed a single tear, and I want you to catch it in a vial, and it's going to give you improved aura for the next 72 hours. Please relish this, and thank you for your generosity. I will answer your dono after I just say this real quick. Someone in the chat, Rune, you said Radiger is live. I did just see Radiger go live, and since we're about to end stream, once I am done with the credit song and dismissed, you all have orders to go visit Radiger on Twitch and say hello from the Site-42 Containment Hazard Assessment Team. But first, Marksy. Dr. Sherman, I hope this is a fair enough amount. I have to finally choose an end-of-stream song now the contest is over. And the song you'll be singing, hopefully, is Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up, a true classic from the 80s. Oh. Not only do I know Never Gonna Give You Up, but I am a fantastic Rick Astley cover artist. And so, yes, you will be having the credit song choice of the day. Congratulations, Marksy, and thank you for your increased generosity. Now, Terragal, thank you for donating again at the very last minute to say, Doctor, I just opened a door in the site and found an endless void of nothing. I closed the door, opened again, confused, back to normal. I'm scared. All right, open the door a couple hundred times. I really wish you had gone in and seen if there was some sort of man handing out eggs in there. But if you open the door enough times, maybe the Eggman will come back. Beastly Gamer, thank you for sending a star to make the chat a 1-star team with another prestige rank as we go to the credits. So Site-42 staff, this has been another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, and that I do at the end of every stream, I tell you guys my favorite SCPs. Of course, I'm not going to tell you that my favorite SCPs are the ones I personally wrote. That would be cheating. But if you want to read the SCPs I wrote, you can go to the Sherman's author page in Site-42 Hub on the SCP database. There you can see the SCPs I personally wrote, as well as contributed voice lines or sound effects too. And while you are on my author page, one tab over, you'll find a list of links. Links that people ask about in chat very often, but then when I tell them where the links are, they aren't smart enough to figure it out. It's very sad. But you guys are smart enough, chat. I'm sure you'll find the links. And while you're at those links, you'll also have the option to become a Patreon patron or YouTube channel member, donate monthly. You can do a Ko-Fi or YouTube Super Chat to donate to us one at a time. Either way, direct donations are the quickest way to help out Site-42 and keeping the lights on and the various projects we do, so we thank you for your service. And if you are part of the broke gang, do not fret. Starving artists are part of every art community, we get it. But you can still help us out by being a member of Mobile Task Force Sci-42, codename The Signal Boosters. When you like, share, subscribe, comment, chat, make memes, fan art, shitposts, edits, out-of-context compilations of both Site-42 and the SCP projects we support. The SCP Wiki with its authors and artists. The SCP filmmakers, game devs, animators, podcasters, merge makers, etc. You are helping us to make bigger and better SCP projects, and we thank you for that support. Whew! And now, without further ado, my favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3909, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-575, SCP-5320, SCP-980. Content warning on the last one's a rough read. Speed round. 3999-3043, Spooky-J, and account of one that's a read. So, Site-42 staff, this has been another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours. Remember, after the credit song, to go raid Radiger's stream on Twitch. Tell them Dr. Sherman sent ya. This has been another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site-42. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream. You know what? In return for Marxie's generosity, let's go ham on this. Oh, yeah. We're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I. A full commitment's what I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. We've known each other for so long. Your heart's been aching, but you're too shy to say it. Inside we both know what's been going on. We know the game and we're gonna play it. And if you ask me how I'm feeling, don't tell me you're too blind to see. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. Whew! For you, Marksy, for that generosity, you got 2 verses instead of 1. 2 verses instead of 1. Thank you, Marksy, for your intense generosity and excellent taste in music. All right, Site-42 staff. I even went on camera for that one. That's how hardcore I had to go because Marksy was so generous. Last minute here, I see some sparkles coming in. Kaki Romero, thank you for sending 15 sparkles and a 6-7 to torture the chat even more with glitter bombs and a 6-7 for the end of stream. Now be safe, be well, Site-42 staff. And as always, secure, contain, protect. We'll see you in the next video or stream. Nixie, Radiger's stream is R-A-D-D-A-G-H-E-R. R-A-D-D-A-G-H-E-R. Go tell Radiger I said hi. And Crazy Cats, there is no bonus stream today. We do 1 stream a day. Starlight, sorry that it was you that sent the 6-7. Yes, I recognize that now. My apology.